Hi, and welcome to the Eagle's Eye. I'm your host, Paul Murray, and today we are excited to have senior William Robinson with us today to talk about the work he has done at the Village Network. William, how are you doing today?
Good. You can call me Jackie.
Jackie,
Yeah.
Jackie, how'd that come about?
So, my first name is William. My middle name is actually Joshua.
Okay.
Many people don't know that. Jackie Robinson is my nickname I got my freshman year.
Really?
So first day I ever showed up to Ashland University, I decided I wanted to commit a week before school started. I show up and I'm checking in to Kill Hefner, the old Kill Hefner, where it was kind of not the greatest, but, and it was abbreviated. It was William J. Robinson, and my RA at the time was Brandon Freeman. He's an older guy. He said, "Hey, haha, what does the J stand for? Jackie Robinson?" And I laughed and I didn't really respond.
Yeah.
And so when I left Kill Hefner and went to the business office, they were like, "Hey, that's Jackie Robinson. That's Jackie." So it stuck. And 5 years later,
from that first week, it just
stuck with
kept
me.
on from that?
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse, because it stuck with me 5 years now. So.
And so when you're around campus, would you say most people know you as Jackie, or do they still
Yeah.
call you William a little bit? Or?
I don't think anyone knows that my first name is William Robinson. It's kind of funny, but everybody knows me as Jackie Robinson.
Jackie
So I mean,
Robinson.
it even like last year, I was on the homecoming court, and it was titled Jackie Robinson on that.
Really?
So yeah, so
Man.
dude, it's followed me around.
All
So,
right. Well, so let's start by just talking about yourself and just a little about what you do. We know you work at the Village Network.
Right.
So just tell about some of the things you do there, Jackie.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm a fifth-year senior. I was born in Cleveland, so I grew up in Cleveland until I was about 10 years old. When I was about 8, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer,
Okay.
so he passed away when I was 10 years old. My parents weren't together at the time, so I moved to Mississippi, where my mom was living at the time.
Okay.
I spent 8 years in Mississippi.
What was that like, living
And
down
that
in
was
Mississippi?
totally different. Everyone talked really slow, and they say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and
Yeah.
things like this. But I liked it. It's kind of like Ashland. It's a really homey environment.
Yeah.
And after those 8 years, my mom actually got a divorce, so we moved back to Cleveland my senior year, and I went to Glenville, which was totally different from Mississippi, because there wasn't any yes ma'am, no ma'am. It was a lot more profanity between the yeses and nos. So that was interesting. And so after my senior year at Glenville, I got offered a scholarship to come run track at Ashland. And then that's, once that basically opened up the door here to now my senior year, through all of that, it's given me some opportunities to work at the Village Network. I decided I wanted to get into social work. So, so as part of that curriculum, once you reach your senior year in the social work program, they put you in field placement. And what that
Okay.
is I got placed at the Village Network, and I love it, right? So I basically provide CPST services, which is community psychiatric support. So I'm working with kiddos that don't have any like support systems.
Yeah.
And I work at Worcester High School. I work a little bit at Cornerstone Elementary. And I'm involved in a lot of cool things. So I'm really just glad that, given my prior life, that there's been a lot of doors that's opened up.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's just a little bit about me.
Well, can you tell us about your typical day at Worcester High School or the Village Network? Just
Absolutely.
walk us a little bit through of what you do.
Yeah, so typically, and each day is different. That's what I love about it. So the Village Network is a nonprofit organization that partners with different school systems for, like I said, kids that don't have any support systems. So on Monday morning for me, I'm at Worcester High School at 8 a.m. I'm meeting with, right now I'm meeting with 3 young men who, all different reasons, basically. It could be anything varying from, maybe they don't bathe as well. Maybe they don't have both parents. Maybe they just have a single parent. And I've experienced some of those things, and I attribute that to, like, again, me not having my dad. So I kind of relate to these kids. So after Worcester High School, I meet with my 3 guys there. It's all in Worcester, so I would leave Worcester High School. I returned to the Village Network, the headquarters. And I work also with the community, right? So right now we are bringing in volunteers from the community, just bringing them through if they want to mentor these young kids. So I'm making phone calls right after that, talking to volunteers, potential volunteers, and mentors And then I would have potentially like an hour to prep myself for the after school program, which is where on Mondays it's the kindergarten and first graders.
Okay.
So they come on in, and so it's typically 6 kids, and they have behavior issues. I mean, I remember my first day there, we had a young man who took his chair and decided to put his chair on top of a table and then stand on top of the chair that was on top of the table, and then proceeded to tell us that he wasn't coming down the entire class.
And what do you do in that kind of situation? How do you go about solving that?
Right. Of course, like my initial response would be to just get up and grab them, right? But when they're like, no, I'm not coming down, when they tell you that they're not coming down, and when they have, let's say that they have a history of being neglected or sexual abuse, right? So you can't approach them.
Yeah, it's something
you have
deeper
to really,
than just standing on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's the training that we go through really teaches us how to engage with them. So the way we present it is, well, Johnny, we would really like you to rejoin the group here. So when you're finished, could you please come down from there? This is just a way that you kind of talk through it.
So would you say you kind of just go on with your daily, what you're doing in the classroom, and just kind of let Johnny come down and rejoin you? Or?
Right. Try to talk him through it. So it's more like the zones of regulation. We would call that a red zone. So it's more about talking them back to a green zone. So hey, Johnny, so do you realize what you're doing right now and how that's affecting everyone? And if that doesn't work, so we would try then to, if he's harming someone, then we would, of course, have to restrain him.
Yeah.
I've been in one restraint situation.
Really?
That was an entirely different situation.
Can you tell us a little bit about that situation?
Yes, sure. That one actually. So that one was recent, and that was during transportation. So after the after-school program, we have like a 15-passenger van, and we transport the kids home. So one of these particular days, we had a young lady. She is a second grader. And so she's about 8 years old, I want to say.
You have a wide range of students, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
From first to like middle school.
To
so
middle
you really
school,
got
from high
to
school.
adapt to the situation.
Yeah, right. And that's a challenge in itself, but it's really rewarding.
I bet.
But that particular young lady, what we would call it was is dysregulation. She was very dysregulated. She wasn't responding really well to us speaking to her in a calm manner. So the time had come where we're loading them up on the van. There's about 6 kids again in this group as well. And so before the van can take off, we have to get them strapped in their seatbelts. And again, she's dysregulated when she gets on the van.
Yeah.
So now she doesn't want to put her seatbelt on. So my job is, while the driver is in the front seat, I'm making sure everyone's in their seatbelt so we can travel safely. So she starts screaming at the top of her lungs now and saying, oh my God, she hit me. And I didn't see it, the driver doesn't see it. Who hit you? At this point, she jumps up, she's standing up, right? In the van, we're driving, and now
moving vehicle.
We're in a moving vehicle, no seatbelt, and she's trying to get out and open the door up. And she actually got it open before I could put my hand in front of her to like, no, you shouldn't do this.
Block her.
Yeah, because
she
said
just say, no, you
this,
shouldn't, or do you actually pull her back in that situation?
Yeah.
'Cause this is kind of getting dangerous at
this
point.
Absolutely. And at that point, it was more safety. It was more safety. So that point, if she wasn't harming anyone, it would be more talking. But now that she was saying that she's getting out of the van, that provoked a little more.
A little more action.
Yeah,
from you.
exactly.
Like,
I had to kind of.
You probably should jump out of the van.
Right. Yeah. So that was definitely a situation that I've never been experienced to, but I'm thankful for it because.
And I mean, how does that make you feel? You deal with these situations, and you potentially save someone's life or save someone from getting injured in a traumatic way. So
it's
I mean, that's on an everyday basis. You wake up and you never know what's going to happen.
And truthfully, like now that it's winding down to like the end of like my internship, my field placement, I'm reflecting more on it. And I'm more thankful for what I realize is a lot of these kids, they don't have, what I realize is like, maybe they don't have someone to speak to. Maybe they don't have anyone, maybe they're just being told no so much that you realize when you're there for them and they realize that, when they recognize that you care and they open up and that's rewarding because then when you see, oh wow, they're making progress, or wow, you know, they've grown so much from when I first met them. That's like, that's really cool to be a part of that. And that's kind of like when I again reflect on my experiences losing my dad. I had a lot of coaches that helped me along the way, and it's kind of provided me an opportunity to be that person for like the next kiddo that comes from that kind of situation. So that's kind of like that's rewarding in itself, right? So yeah, that's pretty cool.
So obviously you've had, you know, this experience with this, and it sounds like you really enjoy what you're doing. Do you see this as a future profession of yours? And like, how are you going to going out in the real world as a professional?
Right.
What is your plan for that?
Now that I graduate in less than a month.
Yeah, a little pressure on
that.
Right.
Yeah. So geez, but. So my supervisor has mentioned me sticking around. He's mentioned.
Okay, so they want you to stay at the Village Network.
Right, yeah, and so that's definitely something I want to do, but at the same time, I don't want to limit myself. So I think a dream of mine would be, I want to open up either a program or some kind of schooling system that's kind of similar to the Village Network, but kind of takes in these kids from broken situations, single parent homes, or you know, various just tough situations. So I mean, but as far as like the near future, I see myself at the Village Network.
Network.
Yeah, just I definitely see that, because man, every day I don't dread going there. You know, even though it's an internship, it's unpaid, right? 500 hours, with not making a dime, and each day I'm like, wow, you know, I wake up, I'm like, all right, today's gonna be kind of cool, right? I'm like, it's different,
fun.
Right? It's totally different. So I think that plays a huge role.
I think that's what it's all about. You know, if you go wake up every day and you're just happy about what you're doing, you know, the money will come.
Exactly,
but, you know,
exactly.
The rewarding experience, that's not something you can't monetize. That that's
and that was like and just like that was one thing when I first got to Ashland, I wanted to be a vet. And they were like, you're going to they said, you're going to be in school forever. And I'm like, I ain't got that kind of money, right? I got time is of the essence. What else am I good at? Helping people. I'm a people person. I've been through various things, and I got into social work. But then I had people tell me, oh, you sure you want to be a social worker? You know, you're not going to make a lot of money if you get into social work. You sure you want to? Social work? Aren't you the only guy in the social work program? Isn't that kind of weird? So people were kind of, maybe they weren't as encouraging in the beginning, but I think through and through it, someone told me one day, it's just like education. When you get into teaching, when you get into working with the youth, like those that come after us, they say you might not get rich doing it, but no one else lives a richer life. So I kind of held on to that. I was like, that's cool, right? That's cool. That sounds wise. That's something my mom would say. You know, my mom, she always says, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you can listen twice as much as you speak, right? So that's very like wise. Something that
great
she's
woman.
Cool. Yeah, she's wise. When she wasn't whooping me, right? She was wise, right?
So your mom, does she support this career path social work?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's something she would be all on board for.
Yeah, we laugh because growing up, again, I didn't have my dad, so I got into trouble growing up. So my mom, we often talk about, she feels that the experiences that I've been through gave me the tools to talk to some of these kids that
you can relate in a way.
Right. Like I've spent 2 weeks in juvenile
Really?
Nobody really knows that. I won't say why, but I did.
I wouldn't expect that at all.
Right. So now I can relate to those kids. It's like, you know, you don't know what it's like. Well, I kind of know, right? I kind of been there.
I do.
Right. Been there, done that. I got the T-shirt. Right. It's like, So it's me and my mom. We talk a lot about the times when, in her words, she wanted to kill me, right? Knock my head off, as she would say, because I was just, again, a young man trying to come of age and trying to figure out why things the way they are. But like I said, luckily I had people kind of pointing at me saying, hey, you should probably do this. So we feel like what I'm doing is a good fit. And we felt like that's going to just take me to the next level, whatever that is. So
I think so. And it sounds like something you love doing, you enjoy doing.
Right, yeah.
So aside from working at the Village Network, doing all this social working, you also have a lot of events on campus. I know last year you did the Carolina Reaper Challenge. Eating that pepper. I was part of that, and I got to say, it was, I mean, that was crazy. I was sweating bullets. That was the most intense situation I've ever been in.
Wow, yeah.
Is that event coming up, or do you have any other events?
Yeah, it is coming up. Right. And I actually started that program through Res Life. So I guess I should mention that. after my sophomore year, I decided to join Res Life. It's just another opportunity to kind of just meet people, kind of
give back, do what you do best.
Be that bridge.
Be that people person.
And might I add, you get a free room. So that was kind of like, it was a benefit of it. Well, you know, they pay for it. So I was really like, it was kind of like a win-win situation. And the Carolina Reaper Challenge was actually mentioned to me by a friend, Waylon O'Donnell, who his father grows peppers. And he was like, have you ever heard of the Carolina Reapers? Like the hottest pepper in the world. I think it's like number 3 right now because they're always creating peppers. But I was like, no, I've never heard of it. What is it? It's a pepper that when you eat it, it continues to get hotter and hotter for I think 7 minutes. It doesn't.
And I can attest to that. Yeah, I mean, right when it went in, I was like, "This is a hot pepper."
Instant regret.
I mean, you're how you do it now is you see if you can last 12 minutes without taking a drink of water or milk. And I mean, 6 minutes in, I was watching Rocky montage videos just to try to keep my head off it. How hot it was. So I mean, it does get hot.
It gets extremely crazy. And I don't like hot things.
Yeah.
But so the idea of the program would be to buy a bunch of peppers and see who could eat one of these peppers and go the longest without drinking milk.
Yeah.
And I'll give them a Chipotle gift card or a Dairy Cream gift card, and there'll be lots of snacks. And I also invited people to come out and watch. We'll be doing it this year. And I don't like hot things.
Yeah.
And I tried a pepper flake, right? I tried
just
a little bit, right? Just to see maybe what everyone was going through. Instant regret. That was probably one of the top 3 worst decisions with the thing that landed me in juvie, eating the peppers right up there.
Carolina
right?
Reapers.
Yeah, that's right there with
in
that
the mix with juvie.
Yeah, it is, right? It's just as bad, lasts probably just as long. It was terrible.
All right, when's it going to be, Jackie?
So that's coming out actually this month. It'll be towards the end of this month. There'll be flyers. I'm thinking it's going to be around the 21st. So it'll be April. It'll be the end of April. There'll be flyers all around campus, so people should definitely be looking out for those because we're doing it again this year. And since this is going to be my last year hosting it, I might eat one, which might be worth watching.
You might eat one.
And I even plan on giving this program to another RA or making sure that they continue to do this because this is the 3rd annual Carolina Reaper Challenge. So I want to see it get to the 30th annual Carolina Reaper. I want to see that happen.
Well, all right, Jackie.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having us. Or thanks for
thank you.
Us having you. So, Carolina Reaper Challenge. And good luck at the Village Network.
Thank you.
And this has been another edition of the Eagle's Eye. I'm your host, Paul Murray, and we will see you later.
Nice.